Humanity's secret. In the vast expanse of the galaxy, countless alien species had formed the Galactic Council, an organization that oversaw the affairs of the known universe. For millennia, they had watched over the planets under their jurisdiction, guiding the development of those they deemed worthy and dismissing those they considered primitive. Earth was one such planet, a small blue marble in a corner of the Milky Way that the Council had long regarded as a backwater world. The humans who inhabited it were seen as a young, naive species, barely capable of interstellar travel and certainly not advanced enough to warrant a seat at the Council's table. But the Council had greatly underestimated humanity. Deep beneath the surface of Earth, hidden from the prying eyes of alien scouts, human civilization had been quietly advancing at an astonishing rate. In secret underground cities, brilliant scientists and engineers had developed technologies that far surpassed anything the Council possessed. While the Council laughed at humanity's primitive spacecraft and rudimentary weapons, Earth's brightest minds had been working tirelessly to create marvels of science that would shock the galaxy. From quantum computers that could crack any alien encryption to nanorobotics that could reshape entire planets, humanity had achieved breakthroughs that the Council thought impossible for a species so young. And yet, despite their advancements, humans had carefully maintained the facade of a harmless, underdeveloped race. They had bided their time, knowing that the right moment to reveal their true power would come. That moment arrived when Earth's leaders decided to formally request membership in the Galactic Council. It was a bold move, one that was met with amused scoffs and patronizing laughs from the alien dignitaries. In the grand halls of the Council's headquarters, Ambassador Xarin, a tall, slender being with iridescent blue skin, addressed the assembled representatives of humanity. "Your request is denied," Xarin said, his voice dripping with condescension. "Earth is not ready for a seat at this table. Your species is far too primitive to contribute anything of value to the Council." The human delegation, led by Captain Alara Novak, remained stoic in the face of the Council's dismissal. Alara, a woman with piercing green eyes and a confident demeanor, simply nodded in response. "We understand, Ambassador Xarin," she said calmly. "We respect the Council's decision." But as Alara and her team left the Council chambers, a small smile played at the corners of her lips. The Council had no idea what they had just set in motion. Back on Earth, in a top-secret facility hidden deep within the Rocky Mountains, humanity's leaders gathered to discuss their next move. "The Council rejected us, just as we expected," Alara reported, her holographic image flickering above the conference table. President Ilara Creston, a woman with silver hair and piercing blue eyes, leaned forward in her seat. "Then it's time for Phase 2 of our plan. The Council thinks we're weak and primitive. It's time to show them just how wrong they are." The others in the room nodded in agreement, their faces set with determination. They had been preparing for this moment for decades, gathering their strength and honing their technologies in secret. Now, it was time for humanity to take its rightful place in the galaxy, even if it meant bringing the mighty Galactic Council to its knees. The Council had underestimated Earth for the last time. Humanity's secret was about to be revealed, and the galaxy would never be the same. The quantum disruptor. In the heart of Earth's hidden cities, a technological marvel was about to change the course of galactic history. Deep within the research labs of Apex Industries, Dr. Liam Raven stood before a sleek obsidian device that hummed with an otherworldly energy. "Behold," Liam said, his voice filled with quiet pride, "the quantum disruptor." The device was the culmination of decades of research and development, a weapon that harnessed the very fabric of space-time itself. With a single pulse, it could disable any electronic system, no matter how advanced, rendering ships and stations helpless in the blink of an eye. And it was Earth's secret weapon against the Galactic Council. Liam had worked tirelessly on the quantum disruptor, pouring his genius into creating a device that could level the playing field between humanity and the advanced alien races that looked down upon them. He had sacrificed countless nights and weekends, driven by the desire to prove that humans were not the primitive species the Council believed them to be. As he made the final adjustments to the disruptor, Liam's mind wandered to the day he had been recruited by Apex Industries. He had been a young, brilliant physicist, fresh out of graduate school, and eager to make his mark on the world. When the company had approached him with an offer to work on a top-secret project, he had jumped at the chance. Little did he know that he would be part of a team that would change the course of human history. "Is it ready?" a voice asked from behind him, pulling Liam from his thoughts. He turned to see Admiral Nora Blackwell, the head of Earth's covered space fleet, standing in the doorway. She was a tall, imposing woman with short, dark hair and a steely gaze that commanded respect. "Yes, Admiral," Liam replied, his voice filled with confidence. "The quantum disruptor is fully operational and ready for deployment." Nora nodded, a glint of satisfaction in her eyes. "Excellent work, Dr. Raven. Your device will be instrumental in our plan to show the Galactic Council the true power of humanity." She stepped closer to the disruptor, running her fingers along its smooth surface. "With this weapon, we will be able to disable the Council's defenses and communications, leaving them vulnerable to our attack." Liam couldn't help but feel a surge of pride at the Admiral's words. He had dedicated his life to this project, and now it was about to be put to the ultimate test. "I've also made some improvements to our stealth technology," Liam added, gesturing to a nearby console. "Our ships will be virtually undetectable to the Council's sensors, allowing us to strike without warning." Nora's lips curled into a tight smile. "Perfect. The Council won't know what hit them." She turned to face Liam, her expression growing serious. "You understand the importance of this mission, don't you, Dr. Raven? The fate of humanity rests on the success of your device." Liam met her gaze, his eyes burning with determination. "I understand, Admiral. The quantum disruptor will not fail. I stake my life on it." Nora held his gaze for a moment longer before nodding in satisfaction. "Good. Prepare the device for transport. Operation Phoenix begins at dawn." As the Admiral left the lab, Liam turned back to the quantum disruptor, his heart racing with anticipation. The time had come for humanity to reveal its true strength, and he would be the one to deliver the first blow. The Galactic Council had no idea what was coming. Earth's revenge would be swift, merciless, and utterly devastating. Operation Phoenix begins. As the first rays of dawn broke over the horizon, Earth's covered space fleet emerged from the shadows, ready to strike at the heart of the Galactic Council's power. Admiral Nora Blackwell stood on the bridge of the EE's Prometheus, her eyes fixed on the viewscreen that displayed the vast expanse of space before her. "Status report," she barked, her voice cutting through the tense silence. "All ships are in position." "Admiral," Lieutenant Commander Zora Singh replied from her station. "The quantum disruptor is armed and ready." Nora nodded, a grim smile playing at the corners of her lips. "Excellent. It's time to show the Council what humanity is truly capable of." She turned to face her crew, her gaze sweeping over the determined faces of the men and women who had dedicated their lives to this moment. "Today, we embark on a mission that will change the course of galactic history. For too long, the Council has looked down upon us, dismissing us as a primitive, insignificant species. But no more." Nora's voice grew louder, filled with a fierce determination that seemed to crackle through the air. "Today we strike back against those who would underestimate us. Today we prove that humanity is a force to be reckoned with. Today we launch Operation Phoenix and burn the Council's arrogance to ashes." A cheer erupted from the crew, their voices rising in a defiant roar that echoed through the ship. They had waited years for this moment, training and preparing in secret for the day when they would finally take their place among the stars. "Helm, set a course for the Council's defense station," Nora ordered, her eyes flashing with anticipation. "It's time to light the fires of rebellion." As the Prometheus and its accompanying fleet slipped into FTL, speeding toward their target with a speed that defied comprehension, Nora couldn't help but feel a sense of pride swelling in her chest. She had always known that humanity was destined for greatness, and now they were about to prove it to the entire galaxy. Light years away on the Council's defense station, life continued as normal. Alien officers went about their duties, blissfully unaware of the storm that was about to descend upon them. They had grown complacent in their power, secure in the knowledge that no one would dare challenge their authority. But they had never faced an enemy like humanity before. As the Earth fleet dropped out of FTL, the quantum disruptor pulsed with energy, ready to unleash its devastating power upon the unsuspecting station. Dr. Liam Raven, who had insisted on accompanying the mission, sat at the weapons controls, his fingers hovering over the firing mechanism. "Target locked," he reported, his voice calm and steady. "Ready to fire on your command, Admiral." Nora nodded, her eyes fixed on the view screen. Fire. With a blinding flash of light, the quantum disruptor unleashed its payload, a shockwave of energy that rippled through space like a tidal wave. The Council's defense station shuddered under the impact, its shields flickering and dying in an instant. Chaos erupted on the station's bridge as alarms blared and consoles sparked with overloads. The alien officers scrambled to respond, but it was too late. The Earth fleet was already upon them, their weapons cutting through the station's hull like a hot knife through butter. And across the galaxy, in dozens of key strategic locations, similar scenes played out as Earth's hidden fleets emerged from the shadows to strike at the Council's most vital assets. The quantum disruptor had worked perfectly, disabling the Council's defenses and leaving them vulnerable to humanity's wrath. The Council had underestimated Earth for the last time. Operation Phoenix had begun, and nothing would ever be the same again. Earth issues an ultimatum. In the aftermath of Earth's devastating attack, the Galactic Council found itself in a state of chaos and confusion. Their once impregnable defense station lay in ruins, its halls filled with the acrid smell of smoke and the cries of the wounded. Across the galaxy, reports flooded in of similar strikes against key Council installations, each one carried out with a precision and brutality that left the alien leaders reeling. On the Council's homeworld of Zephyria, emergency meetings were called as the full scale of the disaster became clear. The Council's Grand Chamber, a vast, vaulted room that had once been a symbol of their power and authority, now felt like a tomb as the grim-faced counselors gathered to assess the situation. How could this have happened? Counselor Vexthar demanded, his voice shaking with a mixture of anger and fear. How could the humans have developed such advanced technology without us knowing? We underestimated them. Counselor Zorel replied, his tone heavy with regret. We dismissed them as primitives, and now we are paying the price for our arrogance. As the counselors argued and bickered amongst themselves, a sudden hush fell over the room as a holographic projection flickered to life in the center of the chamber. The image of a human woman, tall and proud in a crisp military uniform, stared out at them with steely determination. Greetings, members of the Galactic Council, the woman said, her voice ringing out with a calm authority that belied the chaos that had engulfed the galaxy. I am Admiral Nora Blackwell of the Earth Alliance Space Fleet. By now, you will have realized the extent of our power and the futility of resisting us. The counselors exchanged uneasy glances, their earlier bluster fading in the face of this new reality. They had always believed that they were the masters of the galaxy, that no one could challenge their supremacy. But now, faced with the undeniable evidence of humanity's strength, they found themselves at a loss for words. For too long, you have looked down upon us, Admiral Blackwell continued, her eyes flashing with a righteous anger. You have dismissed us as primitives, as unworthy of a place at the galactic table. But no more. Today we have shown you the true extent of our power, and we will not be denied our rightful place in the universe. She paused, letting her words sink in before delivering her ultimatum. From this moment forward, the Earth Alliance claims its place as a sovereign galactic power, equal in status to the Council itself. You will recognize our authority and our right to self-determination, or you will face the consequences of defying us." The counselors erupted in a cacophony of protests and denials, their voices rising in a desperate attempt to reassert their control over the situation. But Admiral Blackwell simply raised a hand, silencing them with a gesture that spoke volumes about the new balance of power in the galaxy. "You have 24 hours to comply with our demands," she said, her tone brooking no argument. "Failure to do so will result in further military action against Council assets and interests. The choice is yours, but know this: humanity will no longer be denied its destiny." With that, the hologram vanished, leaving the counselors to stare at each other in stunned silence. They had always believed that they were untouchable, that their power was absolute. But now, faced with the reality of Earth's ascendancy, they found themselves at a crossroads. Some argued for resistance, for a desperate last stand against the upstart humans. But others, perhaps wiser or simply more pragmatic, saw the writing on the wall. Earth had proven itself a force to be reckoned with, and to defy them now would only invite further destruction. In the end, the decision was made. The Galactic Council would accept Earth's demands, recognizing their status as a sovereign power and granting them a seat at the galactic table. It was a bitter pill to swallow, but one that they knew they had no choice but to accept. For Earth, it was a moment of triumph, a vindication of all the years of secrecy and preparation that had led to this moment. They had gambled everything on the success of Operation Phoenix, and now the gamble had paid off. The galaxy would never be the same again, but for the people of Earth, that was a small price to pay for the chance to take their rightful place among the stars. The Council's desperate retaliation. The Galactic Council's decision to accept Earth's demands did not come easily. Many of the alien leaders chafed at the idea of bowing to the demands of a species they had long considered inferior, and there were those who argued vehemently for a counterattack against the upstart humans. Chief among these was Counselor Zor-El, a hawkish figure who had long advocated for a more aggressive stance toward potential threats to the Council's power. In the days following Earth's ultimatum, he worked tirelessly behind the scenes, rallying support for a military response to the human threat. "We cannot allow ourselves to be dictated to by these primitives," he argued in a secret meeting of like-minded counselors. "If we give in to their demands now, it will only embolden them further. We must strike back, and strike back hard." Slowly but surely, Zor-El's coalition grew as more and more counselors came to see the wisdom of his words. They knew that a direct confrontation with Earth's military might was risky, but they also knew that the alternative, surrendering their power and authority to a species they had long looked down upon, was unthinkable. And so, in secret, the Council began to marshal its forces. Ships and weapons that had long lain dormant were reactivated, and armies that had never before seen combat were mobilized for war. The Council's counterattack would be swift and brutal, a show of force that would leave no doubt as to who truly ruled the galaxy. But Earth was not caught unawares. Admiral Blackwell and her allies had long suspected that the Council would not go quietly into the night, and they had made their own preparations for the coming storm. As the Council's fleet massed on the edge of Earth's territory, the humans were already moving to intercept them. The EE's Prometheus and its sister ships, armed with the devastating power of the quantum disruptor, slipped out of their hidden bases and set course for the enemy fleet, ready to do battle for the fate of their species. The two fleets met in the skies above a small, uninhabited world on the fringes of Earth's territory. The Council's ships, sleek and deadly, arrayed themselves in a vast crescent formation, their weapons primed and ready. Opposite them, the Earth fleet hung in space like a pack of hungry wolves, their hulls bristling with the latest in human technology. For a moment, the two sides faced each other in silence, the tension between them almost palpable. Then, with a flare of thrusters and a burst of fire, the battle began. The Council's ships opened fire first, their weapons cutting through the void with searing beams of energy. But the Earth fleet was ready for them, their own weapons responding in kind. The quantum disruptor flared to life, its pulsing energies ripping through the Council's shields and hulls like paper. As the battle raged, a small, stealthy ship detached itself from the Council's fleet and slipped away into the darkness. On board, a lone figure sat hunched over a console, his fingers flying over the keys as he worked to penetrate Earth's command network. He was a spy, a Council agent who had been planted years ago in the heart of Earth's military apparatus. Now, as the battle reached its climax, he was ready to strike the final blow that would bring the humans to their knees. With a final keystroke, the spy broke through the last of Earth's defenses and gained access to their command systems. He allowed himself a moment of triumph, savoring the knowledge that he held the fate of an entire species in his hands. But as he reached for the key that would send the Earth fleet into chaos, he hesitated. Something deep within him, some last vestige of conscience or humanity, stayed his hand. He thought of the people he had sworn to serve, of the countless lives that would be lost if he carried out his mission. In that moment, the spy made a choice. He turned away from the console, his hand falling to his side. He would not be the instrument of Earth's destruction, even if it meant sacrificing everything he had worked for. As the battle raged on, the tide slowly began to turn in Earth's favor. The quantum disruptor proved to be a decisive advantage, and one by one, the Council's ships fell before its devastating power. In the end, it was the Council's fleet that broke and ran, its once proud ships limping away into the darkness, leaving behind the wreckage of their shattered dreams of conquest. Earth had won the day, but the cost had been high. As Admiral Blackwell surveyed the damage to her fleet, she knew that the fight was far from over. The Council would not forgive this defeat easily, and there would be other battles to come. But for now, at least Earth could savor its victory. They had proven to the galaxy that they were a force to be reckoned with, and that they would not be denied their place among the stars. As the fleet turned for home, the spy sat in his ship, his heart heavy with the weight of his decision. He knew that he would be branded a traitor, that he would never again be welcome among his own kind. But as he looked out at the stars, he knew that he had made the right choice. For in the end, it was not the Council or Earth that mattered, but the countless lives that hung in the balance. And if his sacrifice could help to bring about a new era of peace and understanding, then it would all have been worth it. Humanity triumphant. The news of Earth's victory over the Galactic Council spread like wildfire across the galaxy. In every corner of the universe, beings of all shapes and sizes marveled at the audacity of the humans, at the way they had stood up to the most powerful force in the cosmos and emerged triumphant. For the people of Earth, it was a moment of unparalleled pride and celebration. They had proven to the galaxy that they were not the weak, primitive species that the Council had long dismissed them as, but rather a force to be reckoned with, a power in their own right. As the EE's Prometheus and its sister ships returned to Earth, they were greeted as heroes. Parades were held in their honor, and medals were awarded to the brave men and women who had risked everything to defend their homeworld. But even as they celebrated, Earth's leaders knew that their work was far from over. The Council had been defeated, but not destroyed, and there were still those among the alien races who would seek to undermine humanity's newfound status. And so, in the weeks and months that followed, Earth set about consolidating its power. New alliances were forged with those alien races who had come to see the value of human ingenuity and determination, and new treaties were signed that recognized Earth's place as a sovereign power on the galactic stage. At the same time, Earth's scientists and engineers continued to push the boundaries of what was possible. New technologies were developed, new wonders were created, and slowly but surely, humanity began to take its place among the most advanced species in the universe. As for the Galactic Council, it found itself in a state of disarray and confusion in the aftermath of its defeat. Many of its member races began to question the wisdom of continuing to follow the lead of a body that had been so thoroughly humiliated by a supposed lesser species. In the end, it was the Council itself that was forced to adapt. In a historic meeting that would be remembered for generations to come, The Council voted to grant humanity a seat at the table, recognizing Earth as a full and equal member of the galactic community. It was a moment of profound significance, a turning point in the history of the universe. For the first time, a species that had once been dismissed as primitives and savages had taken its place among the great powers of the galaxy. As the Council's newest member took her seat at the table, Admiral Nora Blackwell couldn't help but feel a sense of pride and accomplishment wash over her. She had led her people to victory against impossible odds, had shown the galaxy what humanity was truly capable of. But as she looked around at the faces of her fellow counselors, some familiar, some alien, she knew that the true challenge was just beginning. For humanity to truly thrive in this new era, it would need to learn to work alongside the other races of the galaxy, to find common ground and build bridges of understanding. It would not be an easy task, but Nora knew that her people were up to the challenge. They had already shown the galaxy what they could do when they set their minds to it, and she had no doubt that they would continue to exceed all expectations in the years to come. As the council session began, Nora sat back in her chair and allowed herself a small smile. The galaxy had underestimated humanity for the last time. And now, as a new era dawned, she knew that the future was theirs for the taking.